Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we are immersing ourselves in something truly fascinating, I think. It's an academic paper, yes, but also doubly personal. Sits right at this really interesting crossroads of identity, technology, and, well, figuring out who you truly are. We're diving into Vision First, Language After, Rendering as Autistic Praxis by Jaime Hoerricks, PhD. And our goal here really is to unpack how the author used Sora, that AI video tool, not for some viral stunt, but well, as a kind of essential scaffold, a tool for self-discovery, for visualization. We're looking for those nuggets about how vision sometimes has to come before language and how tech can step in, provide accommodation, where the sort of physical commercial world just fails.
Yeah, it's extraordinary material because it really flips the script on AI, doesn't it? Usually it's all disruption, spectacle. But here, the tech is quiet, it's precise, it's incredibly intimate. We're basically looking at a case study in nonlinear thinking, in what they call critical embodiment. Using a digital tool to make this unwritten space, the author's actual physical self finally visible, actionable even.
Okay, let's get right into that core method then, because it feels so central to everything. Dr. Hoerricks says their process never begins with language, and they frame it using terms like autistic praxis and GLP creativity. We probably need to start right there. What exactly is Gestalt language processing creativity?
That's absolutely key, yeah. So neurotypical communication, often it's pretty linear, right? You put words together step by step, brick by brick.
Yeah.
GLP is, well, it's the opposite. The mind grabs language, ideas in these big whole chunks. Gestalts, think, feelings, tones, entire scenarios, atmospheres. That's the starting point.
So the whole idea lands almost like a complete feeling first, an atmosphere.
Exactly. Atmosphere is the word she uses.
Mhm.
Or a feeling shifting in the lungs. They describe it as this quality world arriving first. It's not a list of bullet points, not a description. It's a mood with weight. And autistic praxis here just means the very intentional, self-directed way of working that honors that specific neurotype, making space for that process.
That makes total sense for the internal side. But okay, if the start is this pure nonverbal feeling, how did they manage to interface with Sora, which needs, super detailed linear text prompts? That sounds like a huge mismatch right there.
Well, that is the central tension, isn't it? That's what the author had to navigate. And it explains why language comes later. The words, they trail behind, loyal but slow. They have to force the feeling into words for the machine, but the words aren't the source. So language ends up being, as they put it, like scaffolding, never architecture. It holds things up, it translates for the AI, but it's not the core truth itself. The idea gathers. It doesn't march in a straight line.
And the point of translating it then is to conjure up belonging, a future memory, not just like describe a thing.
You see that perfectly with the dress example. The author didn't start thinking, I want this specific cut or this kind of fabric. No, the dress emerged from the scene I wanted to inhabit, a vision, right? A quiet library, warm wood tones, light that loved the body instead of interrogating it. So the internal need for safety, for feeling welcome, that came way before the object itself.
Wow, okay, that focus on the inner vision, not just buying something off the rack, it just perfectly sets up the huge hurdle she faced with the fashion world.
Right.
Which is, very linear, very language-driven. Let's shift to that obstacle. The industry just not having any reference points for her specific physical reality.
Right. And this is where the paper gets really sharp in its critique. The fashion world, even with all its supposed options, is basically indifferent to the physics of her body. She describes herself as tall, strong, femme without diminishment, a presence that refuses to shrink to fit the frame.
And the models, the mannequins she encounters.
They just whisper smallness, delicacy, containment. It's not just about size, she notes. It's about the specific kind of presence, strong but femme, that the industry tends to erase or diminish in women's clothing.
So it's not just being ignored, it's like being fundamentally left out of the visual dictionary. She says she's unpictured, not missing.
Precisely, and that's such a powerful idea. Misfit does not mean mismatch. It means the pattern is incomplete.
Yeah.
She's essentially saying, look, I exist, I am real, therefore the model you're showing me must be wrong. And the emotional work she describes, it isn't shame about her body. It's mathematics. It's translation. Just the immense effort needed to translate her 3D reality when there's no template out there for it.
The standard templates just don't compute, which forces her towards that incredible declaration, I must be rendered, not purchased. If the world won't show her, she has to create the image herself, become her own reference.
Exactly. It elevates getting dressed from just, buying stuff to an act of self-creation, self-building. Because the industry didn't anticipate her form, She has to make the template, moving from being unmodeled to unbounded.
Okay, so this leads us straight to the technology that actually allowed that, Sora, the AI video generator. And she's very clear. She needed accommodation, not magic. What barriers did the AI actually remove for her?
The biggest thing was removing what she calls social latency. Working with the AI meant she could refine the vision without a human observer. No need for that polite smile while they search for the right words. No feeling rushed, like just pick one already. It just gave her space.
Yeah.
Space for that internal nonlinear vision to surface and be iterated on without interruption, without the demand for instant linear explanation that, social interaction often forces on an autistic person.
And it's really interesting she chose Sora, a video tool, not just a static image generator like Midjourney or Stable Diffusion. Why video? Why the need for movement?
That's absolutely crucial. A still image captures shape, sure. But she needed to see congruence in motion. The vision wasn't just how the dress looked standing still. It was about how her body moved in the dress, how the light hit the fabric as she walked, how she actually inhabited the space. Video offered that temporal reality check, a way to see the body becoming in that space, to really confirm the alignment, rather than just settling for a static, maybe idealized picture.
It sounds like it gave her the confidence maybe that this vision could actually work in the real world. But it wasn't quick, was it? This took a whole month. Refining, adjusting.
Yes, a full month. And this is where you see the speed of the AI meeting the deliberateness of her process. She stresses this point. Autistic time is not delay. It is precision. It's about devotion. Devotion to getting that internal signal absolutely right before calling it done. Refusing to rush until the inner image felt perfectly coherent. That month wasn't inefficiency. It was fidelity. Fidelity to her own truth.
And achieving that fidelity meant fighting the machine sometimes, right? Pushing back against its biases. Sora kept defaulting to a size 6 body, the sort of standard template.
That was a constant battle, apparently. She wasn't just passively typing prompts. She was actively engineering resistance against the algorithm. She had to keep pushing it, telling it taller, fuller, realer, adjusting the rendering, widening the shoulders, making sure the strength was there without losing the femme quality. So it wasn't just convenience, it was using the tool as a craft, forcing that default template to stretch, to accommodate her, refusing to be squeezed back into the box the machine expected.
That whole digital wrestling match, it really leads into the final profound outcome. The dress isn't just clothes, it's congruence, not costume.
Yes, it's a declaration, an arrival. This dress isn't about playing a part, pretending to be someone she hopes to be. It's a garment that actually holds the truth of who she is becoming. She even calls this period her second puberty, a chosen adolescence, a rectification of her timeline.
Can you unpack that phrase a bit more? Rectification of the timeline. That sounds really significant.
It's powerful, isn't it?
Yeah.
It means consciously aligning her external reality, how she presents, how she lives, with the internal truth that maybe got delayed or denied earlier in life. She mentions being 2 years into hormone therapy, having a developing body, specifically mentioning a C-cup presence that needs to be acknowledged, honored. The clothes she wore before, tunics and such, she calls them transitional architecture, necessary but temporary. This dress, for her graduation ceremony, it represents something settled, a declaration of, well, ease, final, unapologetic ease in her own skin.
And the ceremony itself, the graduation, it's not just getting dressed up for a party. It's wearing this congruence in a public space, a ritual witnessed by others, in a place where she holds authority as a teacher.
Exactly. It's alignment in every sense. She's stepping into that professional role fully, without having to shrink any part of herself, her body, her gender, her presence. She says the dress is unmistakably femme, but its main job is dignity, truth.
And then the final step is taking this incredibly detailed digital vision back into the physical realm, working with a professional dressmaker. That isn't giving up control, is it?
Oh, not at all. It's the opposite. It's collaboration, enabled by the clarity she achieved. Because the vision is now so precise, so meticulously refined through all that work with Sora, it actually deserves expert physical execution. The AI rendering was the blueprint, the detailed sketch. Getting the physical measurements taken, having it made properly. That's the final affirmation. It completes the circle. As she says, clothing was once armor, now it will be alignment. She literally built this reality from the inside out, using the tech as a bridge.
That's a really moving way to frame this whole deep dive. The AI wasn't the point. It was a tool used to teach the machine and maybe herself to see her own self more clearly, providing access, dignity where the standard fashion world just couldn't. And that quote hits hard. The miracle is not the software. The miracle is that I'm here to use it.
Absolutely. The core theme running through it all is just radical self-acceptance and self-building. Doing it without waiting for permission from the outside world. Technology just happened to provide the right kind of space-objective, quiet, patient, for that self-acceptance to finally become visible and then, real in the physical world.
Which brings us beautifully to our final thought for you, our listener. Dr. Hoerricks states, I did not become femme to be looked at. I became femme to be seen first by myself. So maybe think about a time you used a technology, any tool really, maybe without even realizing it at first, that helped you understand yourself better, not just present yourself to others, but see herself more clearly.
What does your own internal vision, that personal mood with weight, need? What might help render it accurately? What kind of internal scaffolding are you building right now? Something to think about until our next deep dive.